Hi guys, I am Dr. Meenal and I'll be taking a class today on the diabetes management. We begin with oral hypoglycemic agents, right? So we will be talking about diabetes and its management. Diabetes cutoff, the diagnostic cutoffs that we take are fasting blood glucose more than 126 milligram per dl. So the fasting blood glucose needs to be more than 126 milligram per dl. The post glucose load, that is 2 hours post 75 grams of glucose, the blood glucose should be more than 200 milligrams per dl. Any random blood glucose value more than 200 milligram per dl, and the 3 monthly average, that is HbA1c, should be more than 6.5%. And if these values, that is a random blood glucose more than 200 milligram per dl, fasting blood glucose more than 126 milligram per dl, and 2 hour post meal postprandial blood glucose more than 200 milligram per dl is seen on more than 2 occasions, then we label the condition as diabetes. When we talk of managing diabetes, of course, the first always comes your diet. When we talk of medical nutritional therapy, the second pillar is always your exercise. That is, the two are put together as lifestyle management. But today we are going to focus only on the third step, that is the oral hypoglycemic agents or the anti-diabetic molecules. So, when we talk of anti-diabetic molecules or the oral hypoglycemic agents, we grossly classify them as ones with insulin sensitizers, or we have the insulin secretagogues or the release, the ones that make the insulin released from the pancreas. So, insulin secretagogues. When we talk of insulin sensitizers, we have mainly the two group of molecules, that is the one biguanides and another one is the thiazolidinediones. So when we talk of biguanides, we have the most commonly used molecule, that is metformin. This group initially also had fenformin, but because of lactic acidosis, the side effect, fenformin has been withdrawn and we are presently only using the molecule metformin. When we talk of thiazolidinediones, again we have the molecule pioglitazone. Another molecule which was in use was rosiglitazone or the troglitazone. But these rosiglitazone and troglitazone have been withdrawn from the market and we are only working with pioglitazones. When we talk of insulin secretagogues, again we have the sulfonylureas and the miglitol group. So when we talk of sulfonylureas, we have the first generation, second generation and the third generation. So when we talk of first generation, the molecules were chlorpropamide, tolbutamide, but these molecules we are not using anymore. We are now having second generation molecules, that is glibenclamide, glipizide, gliclazide, and the third generation molecule, that is glimepiride. When we talk of the miglitol group, we actually are dealing with the molecule ripaglinide. Okay. After these two group of molecules, that is insulin sensitizers and insulin secretagogues, we also have another group of molecules which slow down your gastric transit. So what they do is they decrease the speed of food passing from the stomach to the duodenum. So the absorption is delayed. So they slow the transit or they delay the gastric emptying. So they slow the transit, and they are the alpha glucosidase inhibitors. Then besides this, now we have another concept of incretin molecules. When we talk of incretins, we have two molecules here. One is oral and another is injectable. So injectable we are not discussing in this subheading of oral hypoglycemics. We will only focus on the oral incretin therapy, and they are the DPP4 inhibitors. Then we have the latest molecules in the brand, in the basket, and they are the SGLT2 inhibitors. Sodium glucose linked transport channel 2 inhibitors. So I will tell you how these molecules actually work. So to begin with, biguanides, that is the metformin molecule, this is the insulin sensitizer. They actually work at hepatic level, that is liver, causing decreased glucose output, and at the muscular level, at muscles, especially the skeletal muscles, and they increase glucose uptake, right? Similarly, we have the another set of insulin sensitizers, that is thiazolidinediones. These are actually PPAR gamma receptor inhibitors. So they work at PPAR gamma, and they help in, again, acting as insulin sensitizers. They help as increasing the glucose uptake in skeletal muscles and also the adipose tissue. Then the insulin secretagogues. Again, as we discussed, sulfonylureas, they are the secretagogues, that is, they work at the beta cells. They work at the beta cells of the islets of Langerhans, and they make the beta cells release insulin. Similarly, the miglytol group, they are also secretagogues. They also work at beta cells, and they make the insulin release from the beta cells. Alpha glucosidase inhibitors, again we have two group of molecules here. One is the acarbose group, and another we have the voglibose group. So acarbose and voglibose. Acarbose is the first generation and voglibose is the second generation alpha glucosidase inhibitors. Then, as the name suggests, their role is to inhibit the molecule, the enzyme alpha glucosidase, and that helps in delayed gastric transit or delayed gastric emptying. Then the incretin concept, I will just give you a brief about the incretin concept. It was found that when glucose load was given orally and when the glucose, same amount of glucose was given IV, the rise in insulin was more when the glucose was given orally as compared to the rise in insulin when the glucose was given IV. And the reason was considered that there is something called the GI enzymes or the GI hormones which play a role. And it was found that these were the two hormones, the GIP and the GLP. So the enzyme DPP4, this enzyme was causing the damage to the endogenous GLP. As a result, this GLP was not working very good. So the concept was that if we can inhibit this enzyme, the endogenous GLP will work better. As a result, DPP4 molecules were designed, and they are the orally available DPP4 inhibitors. This is the gist about the oral hypoglycemics. And the latest one which I talked was the sodium glucose linked transporter channel 2. How do these molecules work? I will just give you in one line. We know that the renal threshold for glucose transit is normally 180 milligram per dl. But in a diabetic population, this threshold is increased to up to 240 milligram per dl. And this glucose which is filtered here at the Bowman's capsule, this glucose gets reabsorbed by the channels SGLT2. So it was conceptualized that if we can inhibit this molecule, this enzyme or this channel, this glucose will not be reabsorbed and it will be passed in the urine. So these SGLT2I inhibitors were designed, and these SGLT2I inhibitors, as we now know them, they are the gliflozins. Gliflozins, that is EMPA gliflozin, Cana gliflozin and DEPA gliflozin. Okay, so this is the brief about the oral hypoglycemic agents. Now we will be taking individual each molecule separately in details, and along with that we will also be discussing the MCQs which are commonly asked in the exams regarding the oral hypoglycemic agents. And in my next class after this we will be discussing the injectable therapy of diabetes. Thank you so much. Have a great day.